Hi, my name is Megan Atevle and I am the CEO of LUMOplay, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the Trails template to create a snowflake trails effect in LUMOplay. To make a trails effect in LUMOplay, you would go into the Motion Maker and select the Trails template. Click on Create, and you'll see there's a bunch of different options for things that you can customize. The Overlays section in the Trails template allows you to put in calls to action. So if you wanted to put a graphic that shows up when nobody is engaging with the screen, you would put it in here, and you would make a PNG with a transparent background for this at the size and resolution of the screen that you're planning to use for your final display. Standard screen sizes are usually 1920 by 1080 or 1920 by 1200. But you should check your display resolution before you make any of the graphics for your custom app. I'm not going to be using an overlay for today's example, but I did want you to be aware that there are overlays that disappear when somebody moves, and then there are overlays for logos and things that you want to stay on the screen while people are playing. And this is the section where you would put those graphics in. For the background, you can use an image or a video. I like to use videos because you can put audio in the video and the audio will also loop. So the background video that I'm using for this effect does have audio in it. I just have the audio on my computer muted. So you won't be able to hear it in the demo, but if you want to play with the app in LUMOplay, there will be audio in it. So you just select your background. It takes a few seconds, and you can see that now I have a different background with the default particles on them. There's two kinds of particles in the Trails template, the animated particles and the static particles. And in this demo, I'm going to be using both. For the animated particles, I'm going to click the red X to delete the existing particles. So just get rid of the particles that are already there. And then click the folder, and you can select all of the graphics that you've prepared for your animated particles. The animated particles are usually smaller than the static particles because they're moving around and they're kind of there to just add depth to the effect. You can adjust things like the end size to make the particles a little bit bigger or smaller. You can also adjust the lifetime, which is how long they're on the screen. The amount spawned, so if you want them to show up really densely, then you can turn the amount spawned up. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. And then the rotation speed, which I'm not going to really be adjusting at all for this because most of my particles are just circles. You can change the start size and the spread as well if you want them to spread wider or start at a larger size. I'm not going to be adjusting that. Most of the settings that are in these templates are defaults that we set because we've done thousands of installations, and the defaults that we've chosen for the templates are the defaults that we typically use in most of our projects. So a lot of the time you may not need to change the settings at all. For static particles, you're going to use bigger particles. I'm going to get rid of the default particles and choose some snowflakes. And now I'm just testing with my mouse cursor, and you can see that I'm making a really nice effect with snowflakes. I can make the snowflakes a little bit bigger. The size of these particles is 200 by 200 pixels. I can also spread them out a little bit more. And I can make them last on the screen a bit longer and increase the amount spawned. But again, I really like the defaults because those are typically what we use in most installations. So I'm not going to change them too much. The last thing that you have control of is the idle particles. So that's little dots that, little dots that show up on the screen. It pulls these from your animated particles. They'll just kind of show up from time to time, even if nobody is playing. The idle particles never pull from the static particles, so you're not going to see snowflakes in this effect show up randomly, but you will see little dots here and there. Again, I'm going to leave this on the default, but if you want it to spawn more of them or last on the screen for longer or show up longer, right now there's an idle timeout that's a few seconds, so they won't show up for a few seconds after somebody has interacted with the screen. you can adjust those settings here. You can also turn the idle particles on and off, so if you just don't want them at all, you can turn them off. Now that I'm done my effect, I'm just going to name it. So I'm going to call it Snowflake Trail, and then I'm going to click Save. And then I'm just going to close this window, and it will save my experience in the Motion Maker drafts with a little thumbnail so I can find it once it's published. I'm using LUMOplay Maker, which allows me to publish as many Motion Maker effects as I want to without having to pay. If you're using Lumo Playground, there's a fee for each custom app that you make. So I'm going to click Publish. It's going to give me that warning that I can no longer edit it once it's been published. Click OK. It'll upload my app. Once the app is done uploading, it will give me a little message that says the app was published successfully and remove the draft from my Motion Maker section. So I can click OK, and a few seconds later this will just disappear. And now it says no drafts available, so if I want to go find the app that I just created, I can go into my apps section. I've typed in the word snowflake, and there's the snowflake trail that I just created. So now I can download this experience onto any of my installations. Any installations that are connected to your account have access to all of the Motion Maker experiences that you create. Once the app is downloaded, I'll get a message that it's unpacking and installing the app, and now I can launch it. So here is the touchscreen version of the app. And this is the app on the floor. Thanks so much for watching to the end of this LUMOplay tutorial. If you have any requests for features that you'd like us to add, or any comments, any observations, any games you'd like us to make, please leave them in the comments or reach out to us at info@lumoplay.com. Any engagement we get on our videos helps us, and we hate asking because it's super cheesy, but you know, that's what you got to do if you want to keep your prices low. So yeah, share our stuff and reach out and like and subscribe and hit the bell, and I will see you again next Tuesday.